In 1963, Bundesliga as we know of today was founded, and unsurprisingly, a side from Munich won the competition in 1966. But it's not what you think. Now, even though Bayern Munich are record Bundesliga winners with 31 titles to their name, it was 1860 Munich who won the competition in 1966. And that's not even it. In 1965, 1860 Munich became the first side from the city of Munich to play in a European Cup final. They featured in the Cup Winners' Cup final, now albeit they lost that match, but the only reason why they were in that competition in the first place was because they had won the DFB Pokal in 1964. Clearly, strong foundations were laid at this football club, but what followed post-60s was just disappointments after disappointments, and these days 1860 Munich find themselves playing in the third tier of German football, whereas their neighbours Bayern Munich are 6-time European champions. So what went wrong there? What happened to 1860 Munich? Now we are not gonna go into details as to what happened to 1860 Munich in the 60s because Bundesliga at the time was still considered a semi-professional league, and because of this there wasn't much stability at the time. So the fact that their league winning side was completely broken up in just a couple of years should not come as much of a surprise. In the 70s, 1860 Munich finished 10th or lower for 7 consecutive years, and with modern rulings would have actually been relegated 3 times. But that did not happen. Their actual problem lied off the field because their finances were an utter mess. In 1989, the DFB, German FA, started snooping around their books, and they came to the conclusion that this football club was completely bankrupt. And as a result of that, they banished 1860 Munich to the amateurs where they played for 4 straight years.
Stop my word! Oh, what an embarrassment! I do not believe it!
The name 1860 Munich had its name value. The club had strong foundations and they had a very loyal support, because of which the club was able to rebuild themselves back up to the Bundesliga by 1994. Within a couple of seasons, the club had a strong hold of the mid-table of the Bundesliga and even had a couple of runs in Europe. These European journeys gave 1860 Munich a false hope that they are an elite club, because of which in 2001 they signed a contract with Bayern Munich, which stated that 1860 Munich and Bayern Munich are going to open a stadium, a 66,000-seater stadium, Allianz Arena. There was only one bit of problem. Building a stadium costs a lot of money. Bayern Munich, who are serial Bundesliga winners, even they fell off for 5-6 years after the launch of Allianz Arena. So just imagine what happened to 1860 Munich. Soon after the contract was signed in 2001, 1860 Munich started saving on their finances. Very little investment was done in the starting 11, and this came to bite them. In 2004, after 12 years in the Bundesliga, 1860 Munich was relegated, and this relegation was the worst thing that could have happened to them. The club were in a huge sum of debt, and now they just lost out on the Bundesliga money. Because of this, a number of players were let go, and 1860 Munich nearly suffered yet another relegation. But that wasn't even the full story. The German FA were now looking at their financial books. It was like the 70s and 80s all over again for 1860 Munich. But unlike back then, this time around, a savior emerged. Bayern Munich, their local rivals, bought out their 50% share in Allianz Arena for just 11 million euros. That 11 million euros helped 1860 Munich keep their professional status. But the reason why 1860 Munich found themselves in this position in the first place, the Allianz Arena, well, that stadium was no longer now in their custody.
Stop my word! Oh, what an embarrassment! I do not believe it!
4 years later, 1860 Munich were in a bit of mess once again. The 11 million euros that they had got from Bayern Munich, it was gone now, and the four managers that they had hired to get themselves back into the Bundesliga had all completely failed. In 2010, 1860 Munich once again needed 8 million euros to keep their professional status, and like 4 years prior, a savior emerged. Hassan Ismaik, a Jordanian businessman, bought 60% of the club's share for 80 million euros. There's a problem here. That 60% number goes against the rulings of the German Federation, which states that no one person could own more than 49% stake in a football club. This problem would soon become a serious problem for 1860 Munich in the following years. Like when Mike stated that he wanted to spend big. He wanted to spend big to make 1860 Munich a Bundesliga side, make them regulars there, and then take them into the Champions League. But due to the voting differentials and the fact that 1860 Munich were scarred from their previous reckless spending, they turned down every single one of his proposals. Things changed a little bit in 2015 when a new president was elected in, Peter Gasselet. Peter was a little bit lenient toward Hassan Ismaik. He allowed him to spend his money, which the Jordanian businessman did. 10 million euros were spent. A number of players came in on loan. Hassan Ismaik believed that his investment was gonna reap him some rewards. It did not, as all of those signings failed. So in order to save face, Ismaik invested once again, this time in the managerial department. A highly coveted Portuguese manager, Victor Pereira, was appointed, and he too flopped. None of it was working. The owner was trying to buy his way into the Bundesliga, but he did not have a clear plan, nor did he have crazy finances. He believed spending a little bit of money here and there would do the trick. It does not. You need to have a proper structure, a decent academy, a good recruitment side, a good backroom side, all of which that 1860 Munich lacked. Ismaik believed that relegation was down on the board members and not him. He believed that if he was given the free reins, the club would have gone up rather than going down. So as a sign of protest, he refused to pay the 10 million euro fee that the club had to pay in order to play in the Bully 3. As a result of that, the club was relegated once again without even kicking the ball this time around. 1860 Munich have now worked their way back into the third tier of German football, but things aren't that great for them. Their owner wants nothing to do with the football club and is refusing to sell them for anything less than the 65 million euros that he had put in the football team.
Oh my word! Oh, what an embarrassment! I do not believe it!
An unrealistic dream of playing in one of the biggest stadiums in world football resulted in 1860 Munich signing up with someone who did not know what they were signing up for, has resulted in the club now finding themselves in the newest of lows for them. And as of right now, no one knows when 1860 Munich will be back up, if ever. So yeah, this was a video on what happened to one of the founding members of German football, 1860 Munich. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe, have a good day, and I will see you soon.